fashion, and the political segment. Starting with the tragic incident that happened across this week, and the death toll from recent intertribal clashes in Upper Egypt's Aswan rose to 26 last Tuesday. The fighting first began between the Arab clan Bani Hilal and a Nubian tribe, the Budiya, over the harassment of a girl from one of the tribes, and also offensive graffiti written on the wall of a school by students from the feuding families.
And we also have the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nabil Fahmy, urging the African Union's Peace and Security Council to reconsider its decision to freeze Egypt's membership during a meeting with the African Union's high-level panel for Egypt in Cairo on Tuesday.
So the third appearing presidential candidate, lawyer Murtada Mansour, announced Sunday that he would compete in the May presidential elections against the former Defense Minister Abdel Fattah Sisi and also the Nasserist Hamdin Sabah. We'll be discussing those issues and topics. We are joined with Dr. Emad, a political analyst. I'd like to thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hello, welcome, Dr. Emad. Let's start off with a tragic, of course, event in Aswan this week and the clashes that have been happening. What are your observations, and what do you think are the social and political significances of this very sad incident?
The tribal conflict that's taken place in Aswan is a reflection of neglectful governments across Egypt over the last 30-40 years of neglecting the Upper Egypt. There is a widespread of ignorance and illiteracy, and also the chaos that is taking place at the moment with the police force and the army fighting the Muslim Brotherhood. I think the government has been delayed quite a lot, or has delayed quite a lot in getting involved in resolving these issues across Egypt, and not only in the Upper Egypt, but we have a number of conflicts in the Bedouin, or among the Bedouins in Sinai and in Western Egypt as well. So I think we need to start a new role now on the government level and on the population level to start looking at issues that have been neglected for a long time, and also addressing issues that have been neglected over the past 30 years. And definitely it is a tragic incident, but it's a signal that we need to start to...
It's like a warning.
Exactly.
Is this like a meaning that there's other issues between other tribes in different areas of Egypt that we don't know of, and it's like stagnant, not really liking the having something erupt all of a sudden like that? So what is the main reasons behind this?
I think the negligence of the government in addressing issues that are really hot or vital into these tribes, and some of it could be a fight for land, some of it could be due to social conflict, ownership of particular assets, and also the religion has really erupted quite a lot, particularly in the Upper Egypt. It's not as easy to handle as we have it in Lower Egypt and in Cairo.
Film industries and media also should be tackling those issues.
That's right.
Trying to present like social bridging between those tribes.
Egypt suffers a lot of social illness, and that's really, as you know, it has erupted after the revolution. The role of the police force has really been reduced quite a lot during the last year of Morsi presidency. And also at the moment they are quite busy with dealing with terrorism. So there is a lot of issues that needs the attention of the government, and I really blame the Ministry of Culture in not addressing these social illnesses and the cultural conflicts that we have across Egypt. Try to address them, and
they've been quite neglected for a while.
That's right. That's right. And media also plays a vital role, but it's really the role of the Ministry of Culture.
Well, we'll move on to another, also another important issue that's been happening during this week, which are, we just heard that sources in the Interior Ministry that 12 handmade primitive bombs were found in Ain Shams University campus in Cairo, and they were defused by the campus security early on Tuesday. How do you explain this dangerous situation that's been occurring and reoccurring now quite more frequently? And we even heard that there's a rumor today that there was one bomb found in High University, but it turned out eventually to be a rumor. So is that everything we're hearing, some things are not true, some things are true, and the frequency of what's been happening?
What's happening? Look, the chaos that's really happening in Egypt at the moment started and was prepared for during Morsi's period. They've been doing a lot of preparations, smuggling weapons to Egypt, preparing workshops and factories to manufacture these bombs. So I don't think what's been happening at the moment is something that is new. It has been really, for the past year and a half, being prepared for. And they've been threatening really over the media channels that they will burn Egypt, so they were preparing for that. I think the police force has been isolated during Morsi's period, and that's how we could find that the police is unable to tackle all issues or really pinpoint where these workshops are and who are these groups. A lot of people have been also released from prison. They are wanted, and these people have been prepared in many areas, like in Upper Egypt, in Sinai. And I do think that the tribal conflict in Aswan is somehow to do with the Muslim Brotherhood involved in
But how do you think we can reduce, though, the frequency of what's happening? I mean, the police have so much in their hands. I mean, what, in your opinion?
I do believe that there is an inside job. There is inside hands that contribute to that. And I disagree with the president of Cairo University saying that he's not going to allow security into university. Let me tell you, as professors, we really live in a nightmare because we totally feel insecure. Students can attack you at any time, and you will never really know who attacked you. There is a lot of smuggling. How did the weapons get into the university? How did the bombs get into the university? And I suspect that it could be professors actually involved or biased towards the Muslim Brotherhood. Did you take these bombs inside the university into their cars? Because if the security guards are standing there by the gates, how did it get in? So I do suspect that there is a lot of issues within the university that need to be dealt with and started from the top.
Yes, so definitely ever since the 25th of January revolution, and maybe the situation escalated after the 30th of June, with the rise of aggression and the death toll in Egypt is really rising. Regardless the reasons behind this, but Egypt is losing a lot of lives. So how would you comment on this situation, and what is the end exactly for what's happening in Egypt and the bloodshed?
From the social point of view, I think it's natural because people have been really governed by fear during Mubarak. They're scared to do anything. They're scared to even fight because both of them will go to the police station and be humiliated. So I think what's happening now, people think that they are brave and they have the freedom. But unfortunately, we've used the freedom wrong, so it turned into a chaos. So it's going to take time for people to understand that there is limits to freedom, and it's not really a good thing to carry weapon and attack others. So I think it's something to do with our social illness of not being trained on democracy, not being able to deal with democracy, and that freedom has been misused to turn into an absolute chaos at the moment. Part of that as well was the humiliation that took place to the police force after the January 25th. And at the moment, I can see them unable to deal with citizens on the street. So if they stop someone and ask them for the license, people start, raising their voice and start fighting. So I think the problem here is the population. It's not really the police force. We've never been trained on democracy, and we misused freedom. And unfortunately, that's going to turn other way around, where the police force will have to get aggressive again to dominate or to protect
law and order.
Dr. Emad, you are an observer of other constitutions and other revolutions, and you've been studying a number of revolutions in different countries. If you can give us your opinion or judgment about what's happening in Egypt and how long is it going to be taking in order to have a stabilized sort of
in the second crossing plan, I studied a number of revolutions like Romania recently. I expected that it will take between 3 to 5 years of a chaos until it will start to settle down. The reason for that, because there is a rise of 3 particular groups after revolutions. Number one is the charismatic group, where charisma A or B